Hi guys, welcome to another travelling corner video, and in this video I will be reuniting myself with a bag of clothes that I'd left behind on the train that I got off when I arrived into York. So what we're going to do is, I've sent an email. Well, I went on to missingx.com to get the preface of the story sorted. So I got on a train, got off at York. Didn't realise I'd left my carrier bag on there. But what I did after that, when I got back, was I went on to missingx.com and listed all the stuff that I had, the stuff that I left on the bus, well, it's the train even, and it was a carrier bag, a boy's carrier bag, with a coat, a t-shirt, and two vests, like the one that I wore yesterday, this one. So I've got two more vests like this. So I've got one white, one black, and then if you look underneath this shirt, my t-shirt, you'll notice that I've got a grey one as well. Put my t-shirt back down. But I've got the other ones that are in my bag. One's black and the other one's white. So I'm going to quickly go and pick those up. But it's a rather interesting journey I have to make. So there I was, scouring about for tickets, because I had an email saying they'd found my stuff. So there I was looking around for tickets, and they only ran to Manchester Piccadilly. Now I've just spent another £5.50 on on a return from Manchester Piccadilly to Manchester Airport, because Manchester Airport, that was where the train terminated, so they couldn't have done anything about that. And they'll keep the stuff for 3 months before it gets destroyed. I'm not going to take that chance. I'm just going to quickly go and get them now. But then I thought, while I was at it, why not spend some time in Manchester? It seems to be a waste of 50 quid just to go to Manchester to pick up some lost property and then come straight back. So I'm going to spend a few hours in Manchester as well. And that's exactly what this video entails as well. So you get to see everything. But join me back in a bit as I make my way on the bus, which is due in about 3 minutes, give or take. But join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back. I was just thinking along the lines of, do I get the train? And the answer to that is going to be no. And that's because of the fact of it's now 11:54, and if I was to come off here and get the tram, I would be running the risk of missing not only the connecting tram but also my train, because I have to remember the train journey in this video starts at Meadowhall and not Rotherham Central. And so it's with that you just have to take into account that you just need to, but I in particular just need to be more careful with the planning. Now, if I wanted to do the tram for some parts, I'd have had to have left my mum's a bit earlier, because then it would have allowed me to do that. I think 11:31 would have been a better idea, because there's only 2 trams that come to Parkgate every hour. One at tram 59 and the other one at 31. 31 and 59. And it's a bit complicated at this point. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'll do the same as I did before. get a bus, would be a better idea. I'm going to get a bus into Meadowhall rather than the train or the tram, and then I can just go across, do what I need to do, just quickly grab something, and then I can get, hopefully, to Meadowhall in time for the 13:02 to Manchester Piccadilly. This is still going to be an exciting journey because I'm going to do some bits around Manchester as well, and you get to see whatever I do as well, you get to see that as well. But join me back in a bit and you'll get to see exactly what I do. And I'm back, and we are at the front of the X2 going off to Sheffield. We're going to go to Meadowhall. We've got about 18 minutes on this bus. The X2, the one thing that I've learned with these buses, the X2 and the X1, they go in different directions. So oh, we're in Rotherham. I'd have thought we're in Rotherham, not Meadowhall. But the X1 and the X2 both go there, and they alternate between them. And I think they go in different directions at Meadowhall, but then I'm mainly more on the X1 buses than I am on the X2. It's an interesting journey between here and Meadowhall, particularly on the buses. And I'm just excited to be able to go on this journey and to be able to share the updates of that with you. And then what we'll do, when we get into Meadowhall, I'm going to grab stuff to eat. I'll grab a drink as well. And oh hello, Eastern Rail Service. I wonder what that's doing. That looks like an old. Yeah, that looks like an old tram. Yeah, so that looks like an old train, diesel. Seen one of them before. Now, when I was sat in Doncaster last night, this will interest you, but I saw a pair of Southeastern coaches there. So join me back in a bit and I will see you in Meadowhall. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and as promised, I'm going to try this on camera. Now, this is the first time I've actually come across a classic potato dog, so this will be rather interesting to see. If I can get into it, of course. Just try and get into it. Oh dear. Done it. This is interesting. Talk about that for cross section.
We'll shortly be arriving at Sheffield. If you're leaving the train, take a moment to check you have everything with you. Don't forget any bags or cases in the luggage racks or under seats, and retain your tickets as they may be required if exiting this station. You can change here for services on the Supertram network. Change here for services to Barnsley, Lincoln, Derby, Nottingham and London St Pancras.
So this is what what the cross section looks like. So what they've done here is they've replaced the bun of a hot dog with that of potato. Join me back in a bit after this and I'll take you on more of the journey and back. And with that being said, we've got just had a phone call from my dad. Talk about this for an interesting turn of events. I've just had a phone call from my dad, and I've just had a whole box of railway books for me get dropped off at his workshop, and it's just, we don't know who it's from. So my dad said he's going to look at that, look at where he got them from, most likely to then go back to tell him that I said thanks. Spelled my name wrong, I've only got one R in my name, but interestingly enough, I still consider it a sign of goodwill. It was an unexpected surprise. I absolutely love the idea of having about 3/4 of a dozen's worth of railway books in my flat, because it gives me more information I can work with when I do more railway episodes, and those would definitely help. I've got one that is based on GWR. It's gone back to being GWR, and I'm just touched by it, and I just don't know what else to say other than thank you to the person who sent those to my dad. Well, I hope you're enjoying this travel so far. I just thought I'd put that update in there just to keep you all updated. Join me in a bit as I'm making my way to Manchester. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and wow, that was an interesting journey I've had. Apart from my dad telling me about a big box of railway books that have appeared for me on the door of his workshop. Someone earlier was sat in my seat. I did manage to get the seat back, but she did make a bit of a fuss about it. Said something along the lines of, I didn't think it would have mattered. And I just thought, wouldn't have mattered, that's my seat. I reserved it. But I did manage to get the seat, because I specifically booked for one by the window. I tend to concentrate more when I'm sat by a window, because I just find looking out the window is to be rather more relaxing. So at least then I can just look outside, if in case anxiety flares up, I can look outside the window and sort of takes my mind off things for a moment. But never mind, I've got my seat, and now I'm just making my way to Manchester Airport. They call it Gatley and Manchester Airport. I had to change at Manchester Piccadilly to do that. Now I may not be able to film inside the airport, but we'll soon find out if that is the case. I'll keep you updated in every which way that I possibly can. Now, having said that, I did have a brief glimpse of the Heathrow Airport, because I did a railway episode where I looked at the Heathrow terminals, but I'm going to redo that because I couldn't look at Heathrow Terminal 4. And of course, as we all know, since 2015 there's been no Terminal 1 at that stage. There's been no Terminal 1 at Heathrow Airport since 2015. But drop me back in a bit and I will keep you updated on what happens in regards to the airport. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and we're at the railway station of Manchester Piccadilly. Now, interestingly enough, we have
4A from the 1507 Northern service to Manchester Piccadilly, followed Field Green, Gatwick, East Fidsbury, Burnage, Malden Road and Manchester Piccadilly. This train has 3 coaches.
Thank you, Anne. Interestingly enough, we have 4 platforms here, or 5. So either 4 platforms or it's 5, and it's 4 platforms and tram. But what I'm going to do is, I'm well aware of the risks of this, but I have been given some sort of permission to film sort of outside the airport, so that's what I'm going to do. So it's always handy to have a railway station next to the airport, like Gatwick Airport's got that as well, and Birmingham International's another one. Interestingly enough, also Birmingham International's the one that has the TFW trains going to Pwllheli and Aberystwyth. This one, on the other hand, has TFW trains going to Llandudno and Holyhead. Not too sure about Holyhead though, but yeah, definitely Llandudno. I'm just having a look around. I'm going to go inside the airport for a bit because I've got the ticket. Oh, I can just, looks like I can just come through. But this is going to be an interesting turn of events. But join me back in a bit because I probably won't, I shouldn't risk going into the airport with this. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and I've decided, you know what, I am going to risk this. I am going to risk going up in the doing some bits around the airport. There's Terminal 2 over there, I can see, and then I'm just going to make my way. I am in the wrong part because this goes to the buses and the coaches, and I'm looking at getting the train back, so I'm going to have to go back down. Trams go down that way as well, so we'll just go back through to Terminals 1 and 3. This is the first time I've actually been inside an airport properly. Can't really count Gatwick. No, not Gatwick, Heathrow. Can't really count Heathrow. But actually this would be the second time because you can count Birmingham in that. But I'm just having a look around. So I'm going to come out here and get the train back to the station. It's an interesting discovery that I found here. Terminals 1 and 3 are right in front of me, and we've just come down here. We've got mainly TPE trains go between. We have mainly TPE trains that call here because the railway station itself is managed by TPE. But then you've got TFW trains going to Llandudno, which that's the 1525 is the one I've booked. And then you've also got Northern services going to Crewe. And then TFW goes to Holyhead as well. I will need to have a look at that. So that and that, or it's just Llandudno now, whereas some of the trains terminate. Some of the trains detach and half terminate at Chester. So we're just making our way back into the exit, and then we'll just have a look at what's going on. So just making my way back to the airport's railway station. Yeah, TPE manage this station. So let's make our way back to the railway station. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. This doesn't mention anything about Holyhead though. I think it's a TFW, but all it's saying is just Llandudno. We've got Glasgow Central, Manchester Piccadilly, Blackpool North, Llandudno, that's what I'm getting, Barrow Furness, Liverpool Lime Street, Redcar Central, Blackpool North, Crewe, Edinburgh, Manchester Piccadilly, Blackpool North. I wonder where you'd have to go for Blackpool South. No, you don't have Holyhead, so the trains only go to Llandudno, terminating at Chester. Some splitting and terminating at Chester. But join me back in a bit because I need to get a ticket to go back through the barriers, and I'll see you at the station. And I'm back. I'm back at the station. So just making my way back down.
Please help to reduce the number of security events by keeping your luggage with you at all times.
Got interrupted again. Now we've got 4 platforms plus 1 for trams. Now the tram is over there, which I find is rather interesting. This one's going to Glasgow Central, and then we go over, that's platform 3, platform 4's over there, platform 2, we want Llandudno, this is platform 4, but I'm going to go into the staff room at some point because I'm going to go over to the relevant platform for that. But East Didsbury, Manchester Piccadilly, Manchester Oxford Road, I was just reading that. Abergele and Pensarn, Llandudno. I was reading that. East Didsbury, Manchester Piccadilly, Manchester Oxford Road, Elstown, Newton the Willows. Did I say Newton the Willows? Newton the Willows, Elstown. We'll have a look. There's 2.5 hours to Llandudno from here. Let's have a look. East Didsbury, Manchester Piccadilly, Manchester Oxford Road, Newton the Willows, Elstown, Warrington Bank Quay, Runcorn, East Frodsham, Helsby, Chester, Shotton, Flint, Prestatyn, Rhyl, Abergele and Pensarn, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, the Ganwy and Llandudno. The Ganwy's a request stop. So if you want to get off at the Ganwy, you need to tell the conductor. So anyway, join me back in a bit as I get myself onto the train going back to Manchester Piccadilly. Join me back in a bit after this.
We will be travelling to Llandudno, calling at East Didsbury, Manchester Piccadilly, Manchester Oxford Road, Newton the Willows, Earlstown, Warrington Bank Quay, Runcorn East, Frodsham, Helsby, Chester, Shotton, Flint, Prestatyn, Rhyl, Abergele and Pensarn, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, the Ganwy, and Llandudno.
And you heard that correctly, guys. We're back. We're on the TFW train at Manchester Airport. This one's going to Llandudno, and I'm coming off of Manchester Piccadilly, but the Rhine is Welsh for East. The Rhine, Didsbury, the Rhine, Runcorn. Yeah, it's all makes sense. Now, this, guys, is what happens when you set your fictional animation world. You set a fictional neighbourhood somewhere based on Cardiff. You've got to bring the Welsh language with you. is really rather interesting. It's also interesting to point at this stage that East Didsbury, Runcorn and Frodsham, Runcorn East, Frodsham, Helsby are all managed by Transport for Wales. I've just got my Runcorn and Didsbury mixed up. Runcorn East, Frodsham, Helsby are all managed by Transport for Wales. And with that being said, we are making our way back to Manchester Piccadilly, and I get to show you more of the area as we go through. Join me back in a bit after this. I'm back and welcome to Manchester, and well, it's another one of those where I get a first class ticket, and because my ticket is TPE only, I couldn't get access to the lounge. I cut myself on something when I was around my mum's, and I think I've just opened up the wound. Ouch. I don't know what caused it, but look at that. A bit painful as well. I'm just hoping that will clear up soon. I think I might need to get some plasters. I'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. Yeah, I'm bleeding. So we're gonna have a look around Manchester for a bit. My train leaves at Piccadilly at 18:13, where I'll make my way back to Meadowhall, and then we'll just be able just to conclude the journey, and I'll be able to tell you what I've done. But join me back in a bit, and we'll be able to work with that and just explore the exciting features of Manchester and what it has to offer. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and this time you find me in a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Manchester, and look at what I've got. I've got the tomato and garlic, the tomato bruschetta, which my pronunciation of that took my waitress by surprise. Now, I've never had a bruschetta in my life, so this would be my chance. I've got 3 courses for £23, plus any other drinks I might have. Oh well. Oh. I just got squirted by tomato. Oh my goodness. I don't know whether or not you'd noticed, but I just got squirted by a tomato. Look at me, he just can't seem to take me anywhere. Not making a mess all over myself. I'll tell you now, this might be my first time I'm having a bruschetta, but it's not the first time I make a mess of myself. It's just, wow. I'm enjoying this though. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.